That was Scott Underwood just reminding us today of God's wonderful love. You know, the Bible does tell us in Matthew chapter 22, 37 to 40, that we are to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love our neighbor as ourselves. Now, we got to remember that the essence and nature and character of God is love. So when we respond or reciprocate to God's love, something begins to happen on the inside out. And that is, of course, we begin to get to be healed. Now, in the Old Testament, there was a compound, an oil, which they called the balm of Gilead. And it was a combination of well known healing herbs and oil put together. And then they would use it as a topical type of application, and it would accelerate the healing process. Well, in a spiritual sense, what God does is He brings the balm of Gilead, or He brings His healing touch into your life. And right from the very time that we give our lives to Jesus Christ, there is a process of healing that begins to happen. What begins to happen is those old offenses, those old problems, those old situations that we have been in bondage to or struggling with begin to dissipate. They begin to evaporate. They begin to go away. And the reason is that you are beginning to respond to God's healing love. And then as God begins to heal you from the inside out, some things begin to happen. Like, for example, forgiveness. Not only do you forgive yourself, but you begin to forgive others. Then, as well, those old scars and those old pains begin to dissipate. And then what happens is you begin to trust again, and you begin to reach out again, because in the same manner that you've been forgiven, in the same manner that you've been loved, in the same manner that you have been wonderfully transformed, you're going to begin to reach out to others as well. And then what begins to happen is you actually begin to show love to others. You begin to have compassion for others. You begin to see others the same way that God does, and as a trophy of grace or an heir of salvation. And then what comes to your life is an outgrowth of love. That's why when we love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, then we have the capacity to once again reach out, because we're beginning to love ourselves. We're beginning to have an estimation of our own self-worth, which is modest, and that is that we see ourselves the way that God sees us. You know, we're a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. That is our position. And so when we recognize that we've been forgiven, then we want to in turn forgive others. And that's the way that love operates. It starts from the inside out with God loving us, and then it begins to grow into a lifestyle of love. A little thought for you today from your friends here at AM 930, The Light, Edmonton's Positive Talk.
Pastor, renowned author,